Hey everybody, what's going on? Tonight, this afternoon, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods, your part of the world. Thought I'd make a video about Australia, one of the places on Earth that I would really like to go to. It's kind of on my bucket list. This is an article by Leonie Jarrett, 26 things you might not know about Australia. This will dive a little more into some things that, you see pictures of Australia. Obviously, we know about certain things in Australia, but these are kind of some little bit different facts, different aspects of Australia that us folks from not outside of Australia might not know. It's actually an island, a country, and a continent. It's the largest island in the world, sixth largest country, but the smallest continent. It's as wide as the distance between London and Moscow. Most of Australia's exotic fauna cannot be found anywhere else in the world. Obviously, we have the kangaroos. There's also koalas, quokkas, platypuses, and wombats, and also emus. Australian mammals, the platypus and the echidnas, are the only two mammals in the world that lay eggs to give birth. Australia is home to 1,500 types of gigantic ass spiders, which freak me out, man. A spider as big as my hand would freak me the hell out. What's that one called? I can't remember. The woodsman anyway. And 4,000 types of ants. Ants alone. 4,000 different types. Australia has over 750 different reptile species, more than any other country in the world. Got the giant ass saltwater crocodile. It's the largest reptile in the world and one of the oldest creatures to walk this planet. It is one of the closest living things to an actual dinosaur. Many deadly creatures in Australia. 21 of the world's 25 most venomous snakes, the blue-ringed octopus, and the stonefish. The Australian box jellyfish, which is considered to be the most venomous marine animal on the planet. Australians have a vernacular for slang, sometimes called streen or strayin. Look out for bloke, that means man. I had no idea that Sheila is actually what they call a woman, slang for woman in Australia. Sometimes these terms appear on public toilets. Interesting. Yeah, and then Australia, they drive on the left side of the road, of course, which always freaks me the hell out. Like I'd be on vacation, hop in my rental, and smash into somebody, especially if you were drinking the night before, whatever. They use the metric system. Obviously, that's not. I guess America's about the only place in the world that really doesn't. North America per se. They use a Celsius system. Anybody in Australia can vote if you're over 18, and you're fined by the government if you don't vote. The name Australia comes from the Latin word australis, meaning southern. It's estimated that Aborigines have lived in Australia for 60,000 years. That's pretty fascinating because if you think about it, they at some point had to hop on, more than likely, it's just a guess, more than likely they had to hop on canoes, whatever, and head to Australia and hope they made it. Aboriginal Australians are the oldest continuous culture on the face of this planet. The British colony of New South Wales was established in 1788. Between 1788 and 1868, about 162,000 convicts were transported from Great Britain and Ireland to various penal colonies in Australia. So in Australia, most of these folks in Australia anyway, descend from convicts and migrants. Australia's first police force, the Night Watch, comprised 12 of the best behaved convicts, and they were formed to control the ever-growing crime rates in Sydney town. Kangaroos and emus cannot walk backward. They are featured on the Australian coat of arms, symbol of progress. The largest Greek population outside of Greece is actually found in Melbourne, Victoria, where this gentleman lived. There are more than 10,000 beaches in Australia. If you visited one new beach in Australia every day, it would take you 30 years to see them all. So it's definitely a place you want to go if you enjoy beaches. 1902, Australia was the second country in the world to give women the right to vote. New Zealand was actually the first. Interesting. Canberra in the Australian Capital Territory is a small city, 472,000. I wouldn't call that necessarily small, but certainly not gigantic. The site was chosen as a location of Australia's capital in 1908 as a compromise, as both Melbourne and Sydney wanted to be the capital, so they put it in the middle. The drive around Australia is epic. There are huge distances between cities, and often there are no towns, which means no services, no gas, no food, etc., for hundreds of kilometers. The vast majority of Australians, including this guy, live on in the East Coast. In the larger cities. The Great Barrier Reef, located off the coast of Queensland, is the largest coral reef system in the world. It is the world's biggest single structure made by living organisms, and this can be seen from space. Kajari, formerly known as Fraser Island, also off the coast of Queensland, is the largest sand island in the world, made entirely of sand. Australians grow up with Vegemite now. Vegemite's kind of making its way, it has made its way to America. It's savory, dark brown spread made from brewer's yeast. People put it on buttered toast and crackers. It was a staple in Australia for hundreds of years, more than likely. Well, 1920, so 100 years. The Nullarbor Plain, stretching between Norseman and Western Australia, and Ceduna in southern Australia, covers about 77,000 square miles. It's the flattest, one of the flattest places on the planet. It's home to the longest straight road in Australia, the Erie Highway, which is 90 miles long without a single turn. Tipping is entirely voluntary, but not expected in Australia. A lot like America. 10% of the bill is kind of the general rule, so I think in America it's 20? So that's pretty common to America. The background of tipping being voluntary is what we have. They have a legislated minimum wage in Australia, $23.23. That's $15.61 US dollars. This means that workers really don't have to rely on tips. Interesting. This guy has a 20-year-old daughter, worked as a waitress on December 26th, which is a public holiday. With the public holiday rates and overtime, she earned $800 Australian, $500 United States. That is not too bad at all. Anyway, just some interesting facts about Australia that some of you may or may not know. It is definitely on my bucket list. I have relatives, sisters in particular, that have been to Australia more than once and absolutely loved it. I think they won't let anybody from outside the country in the country for more than 3 months. You can't stay more than 3 months. There are certain criteria that if those criteria are met, you can stay longer. But for most of us, we can only go there for a maximum of 3 months. Anyway, some interesting facts about Australia. Have a good day. Have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye.